Hello, modern traders. This is General Romulus coming to you live from the Forum in ancient Rome. That's right, the Forum is a fantastic place for verbal gladiatory games. And of course, we're not far away from the real blood action right down the hallway. Always remember, I'm not a financial advisor or stockbroker, here to give you advice. This is for informational purposes only. And as an old general from the ancient Roman world, I love consistent returns regardless of market direction. Well, I want to make this somewhat short. NVIDIA, the largest company in the publicly traded world, by far actually, has earnings coming out Wednesday, February 25th. That is tomorrow, after the close. And if this was any other company, if this was any other time, well, I'd be buying the stock probably in anticipation of these earnings, because this looks like a very solidly bullish pattern going back for the last couple of months, here till about late December or so. So that's about 2 months. If you look at it from a line perspective, changing the candles away, give your eyes a bit of an opportunity to see things from a wider scope. This right here, this looks like an inverse head and shoulders, which is a bullish pattern, typically having a resolution to the upside. In addition, there also looks like we have a bit of a ascending triangle behavior going on from right about here in the last 3 weeks. And if we measure all of this, if it does break out, let's see, 172, 192. So that looks about 210 or so on the upside, which would be matching pretty much, slightly exceeding the all-time high of the stock from late October. However, this is not an ordinary stock, and these are not ordinary times. But again, so how do we play this? Well, if the stock does not gap up after the earnings, I will not be doing anything with this personally before the earnings come out. If the stock does not gap up after the earnings, if it goes up a little bit and breaks out above all this resistance right here, and we could draw a pretty simple line and demonstrate that, pretty easy for anybody to see. It's right there about a little above 194, give or take. So if it breaks above that without smashing above it, first trading in the morning on Thursday morning, right up in here in the low 200s. If it just comes above there and you see volume start to come in, that should indicate that we do have an upside breakout from this inverse head and shoulders and this ascending triangle, and the stock will be more likely than not beginning on a sustainable upside path, matching the all-time highs from late October, perhaps even exceeding them. Of course, all of this could go right down the old Roman trash bin if the earnings don't spectacularly surprise traders and it breaks down below the 50-day average, which could cause a retest of the 200 and even a further breakdown from there. When you're looking at the semiconductor group, which is NVIDIA is the largest representative of that, this also looks good. That looks like an ascending triangle right here, and it's knocking on the door of an all-time high. Of course, this has come on the back of other stocks in the recent past, some of the memory companies and TSM. TSM is the second largest representative inside of the SMH and the semiconductor group. But looking at technology as a whole, not so hot. So something to keep in mind, the S&P 500 is neutral. The sector is not bearish, but certainly in a corrective personality type. The group is bullish, and the individual stock looks bullish as well. So you have some countervailing forces going on here. They're not all lined up. In addition, we've seen patterns like this before where they look textbook only to give way to some kind of news event that disrupts this and sends it on an alternative path. Okay, thank you very much for showing up. Again, this is General Romulus. If you want to reach me directly, it's romulusteaches@yahoo.com. Again, romulusteaches@yahoo.com. I love consistent returns, regardless of market direction. And why shouldn't you? Okay, I'm heading back to ancient Rome on my golden chariot. See you next time.